What's up, guys? Thank you for coming to another RTE shirts video. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you 5 things you need to know before you start a t-shirt business, so that way you know what to expect. So let's get started with number 1. Number 1 is, I know you want to start a t-shirt business, and I know you want to start offering different things, but one thing you have to know is that one machine does not do everything you want it to do. For example, let's say you want to do 1 or 2 color designs. Well, you will get a vinyl cutter like the Cameo 4, a heat press, and some vinyl, heat transfer vinyl. And I use Siser easyweed vinyl, best in the market in my opinion. And with that setup, costs about $700. You could do 1 or 2 color designs. But let's say you want to offer full color designs, like this one. Well, you could get a DTG printer, but oh man, those cost more than getting a divorce. You could also do screen printing, but you're gonna either outsource it to somebody else, but you're gonna have to buy high quantity, or you could do it yourself. But bro, I'll get to tip number 2, which is the learning curve. But you're gonna have to invest a lot more money and time into learning the technique, because using a vinyl cutter, a DTG, screen printing, even if you wanted to do inkjet heat transfers, each one has their own techniques. Each one has their own methods of working. My best advice is to start with one technique. Do vinyl, do DTG, do screen printing. Shoot, you can even outsource and get heat transfers from companies like Supercolor, which I order from a lot. You just send them your design and they send you the transfers, and all you gotta do is just boop, press them. I love doing that. And you might be saying, but Reyes, I could do 1 or 2 colors, I'm cool with that. Well, what if a customer wants 100 shirts of a 2 color design? I know you could do that with vinyl, but for example, it will be much better, faster, cheaper, better quality if you go screen printing. And look, I know right now I just confused you a lot because you thought maybe one type of machine could do everything. It can't. But my best advice is start super small. Get a heat press, vinyl cutter, some heat transfer vinyl, and see how you feel about it. Because I'm gonna be honest, if you cannot make it work with a simple vinyl cutter, you will not make it work with no other technique, because each machine has their own headaches. Oh man, that's why I mainly stuck with vinyl and screen printing. I wanted to use sublimation, I didn't get to it. I wanted to use DTG, I tried it, but it was just too hard to justify that big purchase. But anyways, the whole point is start small, but just be realistic and know not one machine's gonna do everything you want it to do. It's better if you just start small and grow from there and buy machines and equipment based on your customer needs. Because I mean, you could get an embroidery machine, but if a lot of your customers want screen printing equipment, then buy screen printing equipment. But that takes me to tip number 2, which is the learning curve, man. It's gonna take time to learn and perfect how to use your machine. And I know one of the biggest mistakes we do is we order the machine and think, that's it. I could start making money. I could start getting orders. And what happens? I've done this a lot. I get the machine and I have an order ready to go, but I can't get a print. I can't even set it up right. I'm on YouTube trying to find videos on how to set it up, and I'm stressing out. And then you have the customer calling you like, hey, is my order done? And you haven't even got started. So that's why now, with everything I do, I take a couple weeks or as much time as I think I need to get a decent print. It doesn't gotta be perfect, but it has to be decent. And that's when I could start getting orders. And another thing is, when I start getting orders, I mainly do friends and family. Why? Because friends and family, they'll give me a lot of practice. And also, if you mess up on a shirt, which you're gonna mess up, Friends and families, they're not gonna trip as hard, especially if you're giving them the shirts at a huge discount or even free. But the point is, you need a lot of practice. You can make one design and it comes out great. And then when you get an order, something a little bit more complicated, the machine messes up. Or something happened where it's not giving you that good print anymore and you're breaking your head. And how do you solve those moments? Hey, if you want to get started in the t-shirt business, just know those headaches where things go wrong and you don't know what the problem is, that's gonna happen a lot. That's another thing. Don't stress out, all right? There's gonna be times where the equipment's stressing you out. There's gonna be times where the timeline, where you're rushing it, you're stressing out. There's gonna be times where a customer is stressing you out. And hey, all I'm saying is give it a try. Take some time to really learn the equipment and get a lot of practice. And if you like it and you think you could do it, that's when you start getting orders from regular people and hopefully finding your niche and getting customers and getting a lot of orders. But just know, if you're getting a lot of orders, you're gonna need working capital. And that is the third thing you need to know before starting a t-shirt business. You need money to invest. Now, let's just say you get your stimulus check and you're like, Reyes, I wanna start a t-shirt business. I recommend starting with a vinyl cutter, heat press, and then heat transfer vinyl. Hey, everything you need in the description below, all right? But start off like that. But don't have that mentality that you're gonna invest $700 and in a month you're gonna get back $1,400. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did. Like for example, I used to have the mentality of, all right, I invest 5, turn into 10, 10 into 20, 20 into 40. No. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, but let me give you an example. Let's say you just have a simple setup and a customer wants 20 shirts. Do you have money to invest into those 20 shirts? Of course, ask for a deposit, at least to cover your costs, and then they could pay the rest when you're done with the order. But what if you're getting too much business? Do you have enough money to get another heat press? Do you have enough money to get another vinyl cutter? Do you have money to pay someone to come help you? What about the marketing costs? Do you have money to invest into business cards? Do you have money to invest into Facebook ads and learning those? Do you have money to invest on new products? You're doing vinyl, but what if you notice a lot of people are asking you for glitter? Do you have money for that? Now, I'm not saying you can't reinvest your profits. That's a perfect strategy. But one thing I've noticed is if you don't have enough money to go to the next level, it's gonna slow you down. Because one of the things I hated the most was when I knew I needed a new piece of equipment to take me to the next level, but I don't have the money. Man, that's heartbreaking. For example, when I first started, I started with just a vinyl cutter and I was selling shirts for about $15, $17, making a $10 profit, which is great. But then I started getting bigger orders that I had to turn down because I can't do 100 shirts with a vinyl cutter. It's gonna take forever and I'm gonna lose money because of all the time it's gonna take me to make that order. But once I had enough money, I invested into screen printing and it helped me go from making a few $100s a month to a few $1,000s a month. But of course, it took me a while to save up that money. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're starting a business, don't quit your day job, all right? You need that income coming in. First of all, for security, so you can pay your bills, but also so you can have capital to invest into your business. So don't stop flipping those burgers, all right, homie? Until your side hustle becomes your main hustle. Now, the fourth thing you have to know is that the t-shirt business, oversaturated. Everybody and their mamas is making custom shirts and they're all trying to cut each other's prices. Now, does that mean you won't make any money? No, there's gonna be competition in anything you do. But one thing you have to do if you really want to grow is be the best at what you do. And I know what you're thinking, but Reyes, everybody wants the lowest price. They don't want to pay premium price. and I understand. But from a business point of view, you never want the cheapest customers. Let me tell you why. First of all, the cheapest customers are usually the pickiest. They want the most and they want to pay the least. Secondly, when you deal with cheap customers, they're not loyal. As soon as someone offers them a lower price, they're gonna jump ships. And lastly, you can't grow with the cheapest customers because you're not gonna be making enough profit to grow your business. Now, what can you do? Become the best at what you do. For example, if you're great at making 1 or 2 color designs, be the best at that. If you're great at making custom cups, be the best at that. Don't try to compete by making custom shirts, banners, foot massages. No, look, I already know what you're saying, Reyes. I want to be a one-stop shop for my customers. And I understand that. I wanted to do that as well. But you have to realize what is making you the most money. Like me, when I started, I wanted to offer custom flags, magnets, cups, banners. But I quickly saw most of my money came from shirts and decals. Now, I still had those services if people asked, but I was just promoting shirts and decals. And eventually I became known as the shirt guy in my town, and that's why I got a lot of business, because I was the shirt guy. I became the best at making 1 or 2 color designs, small quantity designs. Now, if someone came to me and they want 1,000 shirts, I let them know I'm not the guy for you, because it's not gonna be worth my time. But hey, you need 1 or 2 custom shirts, I got you. Now let me be clear. If you're just trying to make some extra side money, man, offer everything you want to offer. But if you really want to grow your business, be the best at what you do, right? Be known as that guy or that girl. And the 5th thing you have to know, you need to learn how to deal with customers. There are gonna be customers that are gonna stress you out. There's gonna be customers that want the lowest price and they're just gonna keep bugging. There's gonna be customers hitting you up at 1 in the morning saying, hey, is my shirt done? And ooh, it's been a couple times. Or I've had customers, they almost made me quit the business. That's how bad it used to be. But of course, now with more experience, I've learned how to deal with them. And let me give you a few examples. Let's start with the picky customer. What I do is, I ask them the basic questions. How many shirts do you want? What design do you want? And when do you need it by? If they're being picky already, when I ask them those simple questions, I know they're gonna be picky throughout the whole order. And I let them know either I'm gonna charge them a lot more because I know it's gonna take more time to deal with this customer, or I just tell them, I'm sorry I can't do it, but I know someone who will do it, and then I send them to my competition. Let them deal with that. But I'm talking about picky customers. Now, if a customer is asking me questions or they want to change something, that's a normal customer. But picky customers are the ones that say, can you move the design half an inch to the right? I'm talking about those type of customers. And that's what I do. I either raise the price, or if I just don't want to deal with them in a nice way, I let them know I can't do it, but I know somebody else who will. Now, let's talk about laggers. There's gonna be people who are gonna ask you 1,000 questions because they want all the information before they buy, and then at the end, they don't buy. One thing I do is I ask them questions. How many do you want? Do you have a design? And when do you need it by? Then I have a rough estimate of how much it's gonna cost and how long it's gonna take me. And then if they still gonna ask me questions, I'll be like, look, I wanna help you out, but this is how much it's gonna cost. I'm gonna need a deposit. Can you pay that? If they say yeah, then they're a paying customer, and then I'll answer all the questions you got. But if they're not willing to pay the deposit, then I just take my time answering the questions. I'm not on it. Because if they're not willing to spend the money for me to help them, then I have to focus on my other customers that are paying me to do a great job for them. So that's how I deal with it. Also, laggers, People are gonna place an order and never pick up. So hopefully you've learned to ask for a deposit, because it's gonna happen. And now let's talk about the ones I hate the most, the low ballers. You tell them you're gonna charge $10, $12 a shirt, even though it's cheap, even $15, that's cheap for a custom shirt. And they're gonna tell you, well, what if I bring my own shirt? And you wanna be nice, you want the customer, so you're like, all right, $11. Oh, okay. What if I buy my own material? All right, $9. All right, what if I just make it myself and you watch me do it? Nah, bro, nah. So one thing I've learned, I provide the shirts. The reason why is because what if they send you a shirt that's low quality? Or more importantly, what if they send you a shirt that you can't get and you mess up on a shirt? What are you gonna do? You can't buy it anywhere else, so that creates another headache. So I don't let customers bring their own supplies. I don't let customers mess with my equipment, and I don't let customers lower my price. My prices are my prices. If they want to work with me, cool. If they don't, hey, that's cool too. But there's plenty of customers that will pay for my service. And that's the mentality you need to have when you're already established and you already have the experience. When you first start, I recommend getting all the orders you can get, but once you start growing, hey, these are your prices, stick to them. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, press the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.